Should be good.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Welcome to A2NewTech. My name is David Corcoran, and I am substituting for Brian Kelly tonight. Brian could not make it tonight. I am actually Brian's co-founder in a company that we recently joined called Census that's here in Ann Arbor. So this is a great event. I've been coming here, so I just moved here from Fort Wayne, Indiana a couple of months ago. And it's a great event. I've been meeting up here, for about a year and a half, every now and then just to come to this event. It's really awesome. Since 2009, we've had over 100 meetups, 300 or more companies, 6,000 members. In 2017 alone, you had 12 meetups, 60 pitches, and 57 companies. Let me just go out to the audience. First timers here tonight, raise your hand. Nice, that's awesome. This location, by the way, is temporary. We're normally not here. We're normally across the street. We will be here for the next couple of months, and I'll go into more details on that. Anyone here that's hiring right now? Nice. People hiring? Awesome. Anybody looking for a job right now? People looking for a job, hiring? Well, we need to make you guys all meet tonight. It's very important. So, that kind of goes to the next point. Why is this meetup important? Why are we here tonight? Part of the reason that I moved here to Ann Arbor, Ann Arbor is a very interesting city. The density here and what's going on, there's a lot of doers, there's a lot of thinkers, and this gives us a chance to meet together once a month and for these people to meet. Someone smarter than me once said that these random collisions basically shape your life. So do me a favor and meet at least one person that you've never met tonight, and we can either do it here or we can do it at Pizza House when we go there later. But definitely try to meet somebody that you haven't met and strike up a conversation with them. A couple of notes, so you can find us on madeina2.com/Slack, if you're into Slack, or madeina2.com as well. So feel free to track us, come to one of these events. I want to give some thank yous right now. So I want to thank the Entrepreneurship Clinic at University of Michigan Law School, Dana Thompson, founding director of Michigan Law's Entrepreneurship Clinic, A2 Geeks, a nonprofit dedicated to making Southeast Michigan and Ann Arbor a great place for geeks and creatives to live, work, and play. I want to thank Roger Rail as well for R2 Vive, the video. Roger does this every single time. He came out here early to make sure that everything was going to go smooth tonight, which is awesome too. Doug Song, Zach Steinler, Scott Gochi, David Bloom. There's lots of people that make this event possible, so we want to thank them. And we also want to thank Ann Arbor Spark because they are buying the pizza at Pizza House after this. So everybody's invited to Pizza House afterwards. It's a good time, and Ann Arbor Spark is dedicated to bringing this community, especially together, the entrepreneurship community, to support the growth of companies and creation of jobs. All right, so let's move on to the pitches. So, just a little bit about the agenda. The agenda will run till about 8 p.m. tonight. We might, we started a little late because we had one company that couldn't come in. Somebody got the flu. I guess you guys have probably seen there's this really bad flu outbreak right now. So we will not have we'll have 4 companies, a 5-minute pitch, 5-minute Q&A. So we will hold people to 5 minutes pitch. They'll see me kind of do this, and maybe I got to pull you off stage or something like that. 5-minute Q&A. When you ask a question, please stand up and project your voice. If you're up here in the front, turn, kind of so everybody can hear you the best to your ability. Finally, after we do the pitch and Q&A from those companies, we'll have community announcements. So think about yours now. We'll line up on this side of the room, and everybody will come up and do their community announcements. Finally, A2NewTech is always the 3rd Tuesday of each month, and every month we're looking for new people to present. There are openings in March, so if anybody has any ideas, please reach out. If you know somebody, please reach out to organizers@a2newtech.org. Finally, I need you to silence your phones and tweet using #A2NewTech, and we will get started. Thank you very much. First presenter we're going to have tonight is Wildfire, Ken Johnson. Wildfire is a user growth and retention engine that incentivizes and rewards loyal app users who refer others to download their favorite app. Let's bring Ken to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to present to you. I'm the founder of Wildfire, which is a referral and loyalty rewards SaaS platform. Let me tell you a little bit how I came across this idea. I'm the inventor of the Phase 10 card game. Anybody heard of Phase 10 before? There's always a few hands. I invented that game about 35 years ago, and I've been in the game space for my whole life. I've had a number of games, but that's been my most successful one. It's available around the world. And number 2, behind the number 1 card game, you all know, Uno. Stake or Stash is a game, a trivia game I created a few years back, and a board game. And during the process of creating that, I decided to create an application, a trivia app, and I discovered I had a problem. The problem is, how do you acquire users and retain those users? So I was trying to figure out how to overcome that problem. During that process, I realized that every app developer has the same 2 problems: user acquisition and retention. The only way to solve that problem is if you have a lot of money. It's not so much a problem then. The biggest app companies in the world spend millions of dollars monthly obtaining users. You can try all kinds of methods. So it gave me the spark of an idea. And the idea was this: it's Wildfire. Wildfire is a referral and loyalty platform that allows you to incentivize your users to refer other people to your application. Now, this is not outside of what people do. Most of you have discovered the applications on your phone, probably half of them, by means of word-of-mouth referral. So we're taking what people are already doing and incentivizing them to continue to do it and perhaps do it a bit more. 3 things I want you to remember about Wildfire tonight is: 1, it's a referral network. 2, Wildfire coins are involved in the incentivizing people, and I'll explain that in a minute. And Wildfire also includes an app gallery, which is a discovery mechanism for Wildfire-enabled applications. Referral marketing is already very huge. As you can see here, 50% of the users in this poll said they acquire applications by word of mouth. 50% of people said that's one of their preferred methods. In the Nielsen poll, that number was 61%, say that's one of their preferred methods of discovering applications. So we're not changing behavior. The way the referral network works is, I like an application, I tell this gentleman about the application. When I tell him about it, I get Wildfire coins. Not only do I get it for that referral, but as he engages that application, and this is what makes Wildfire different from other incentivized referrals, as he engages that application, I continue to earn Wildfire coins. Now, when he goes to tell the next person, I get rewarded indirectly, even though I don't know this gentleman that he told. And when that gentleman tells this guy, I continue to get rewarded, and it goes up the line. I get Wildfire coins, I accumulate them in my user wallet. So Wildfire is good for the users. They accumulate the coins and they can spend them in-app like they would if they're going to do a 99-cent purchase for a power-up, a new experience, or what have you. So instead of spending the 99 cents, they can spend their Wildfire coins for an in-app purchase. The developers are rewarded in that they now get users by the best method available, which is word of mouth. It costs them nothing out of pocket, and they get more and more users who enjoy their application and continue to tell more about it. So it's a way of making it viral. This is an example of a Wildfire coin. Users like the Wildfire coins in that they can use them in-app in place of real dollars. Developers can use the coins, and they collect the coins that are spent within their application. They go into the developer's wallet. Once they're in the developer's wallet, the developer can then spend the coins in the Wildfire gallery, which is like an app store, not a true app store, but it's simply a discovery gallery. They can spend their Wildfire coins for better ranking, positioning, promotions within our gallery. So the gallery benefits the players, that they don't have to be players, they can be app users, because it's not just for games, it's for any application. But they benefit the app users, and that they have a way of spending and obtaining in-app purchases. And it benefits the users also in that they can experience those different levels of play that they might not otherwise spend money on. And the developers enjoy the gallery in that they can get their apps discovered by people seeking other wildfire-enabled applications. I'm the founder of the company. The chief of technology is Matt Chartier. The back-end engineer is Herb Rogers. Matt Dickinson handles our front-end development, and Lee and Tristan are in our operations. Our traction to date, what we're trying to do is where the product is built, we're just seeking developers who have an application they want to plug this into. Our goal was to have 10 to 20. We just started last week seeking developers. We had 7 commitments already, and during that beta, it's not public facing, it's just simply plugging in and understanding how the process works, to plug it into your application, making sure devs understand how it does, how it works. They have to figure out how they want to disperse coins within their applications, what achievements, what activities they want to give coins out for, those types of things we're helping them to do during this beta. It won't be public until sometime in March, after everyone's satisfied with the beta. So we're looking for a few more beta apps and developers to work with us. The feedback we're looking for is part of the ask. We're looking for the beta testers, and if you are not a dev, but you know someone who is, we'd love to have a referral. So that's Wildfire in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. I'm not the tech guy, my partners are, but I'll do what I can to answer your questions.
All right, please stand up if you have questions.
It's not a cryptocurrency, I can tell you that. Good, it's pretty
How have you been funded today?
Much of it's self-funded by myself and one of my partners.
Okay.
It's taken us about a year and a half, 2 years to develop. It's very involved, as you can imagine, because any dev can go to our dashboard when it's complete, and it's ready now. We don't have the link up, but it's ready, so any dev can go to the platform, put in certain information, pull down the code they need, plug it in, and they're off and running. And they'll go right into the gallery and build their user base. Yes? Oh, you're waiting for it. Okay.
Go ahead, Stan. Oh, okay. You have a question?
Yeah, so what kind of customer discovery feedback have you gotten so far? From either the beta testers that you had or developers or users?
The developers are just plugging it in. Most of the devs that have jumped on it right now are very excited about it. They have usually they have applications that are already out there. Some of them are somewhat stagnant or they're not getting much attention. The best devs at this point are developers that have some MAUs, but they're not growing the way they would like, so they can plug this in and use those users to tell other users. Yes, sir.
How do you make money?
Well, you make money in a couple ways, through advertising within the gallery, and the devs can use the wildfire coins in their wallet for higher ranking, or they can spend actual dollars for that. And it's a SaaS model, so there is a monthly fee per application. There's 3 levels of engagement. One is free, and the middle is a small monthly fee, but you get more analytics with that level, but it's relatively inexpensive for the rewards you get. Yes, sir.
How did you get with phase 10? I'm pretty impressed where all the hands went up. How did that blow up? What did you do as an entrepreneur to get that to where it is, and what are you doing with this product to mirror that? Or are you using any, I'm just interested in kind of...
It's going to be a long answer. Okay, it's 35 years in the making with phase 10, so that's a long answer. But basically, I did phase 10 with a word of mouth campaign as well.
Okay, thank you.
And we never did any advertising, and it blew up on word of mouth. It's sold around the world, and it's the second best-selling card game behind them all. And continuing to grow. Mattel is my licensee, which is the largest toy company in the world. But going back to your funding question, if anybody out there is an angel and want to be involved, we'd love to talk to you as well. Yes, sir.
I have a question. I'm interested in your pricing structure because you have a referral network and an advertising model, which is complete and advertising models and referral networks are usually a percentage of like how many people you refer. How do you like see a
Ranking?
SaaS model?
You mean the ranking within our app gallery?
Oh no, I mean just normal, like the SaaS model compared with the ad model, which a lot of game developers.
So we're using a SaaS model to start, but eventually there will be some advertising within the app gallery. Because remember, we got users coming there looking for new applications, so there will be advertising there. The app gallery will look much like the App Store, and you can pay for ranking within the App Store, right? You can pay for promotional space and ranking within the App Store. It would be very similar. In our model, they can use wildfire coins that they've accepted, for the in-app purchases, or they can use real dollars. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Any other questions?
A couple more questions.
Yeah, that was easy. But for phase 10, yeah, it was pretty much a word of mouth type of thing. And back 35 years ago, I was a teenager when I started out, and in my parents' basement in Detroit. And the first phase 10s came out of my parents' basement. Got some high school friends together. We assembled them, packaged them up, shipped them out. And I did the manufacturing and production for about 5 or 6 years until I was in my mid-20s, and then I started licensing to companies around the world. And I've always enjoyed the model of network marketing because I've seen companies, everyone knows about Amway and companies like that. So I've always had that in the back of my mind, and this was an opportunity to build that out, and so that's what we did. So the structure, the back-end structure is very robust because it's got to have the ability for any dev at any time to go on and build a structure without any input from us. So it's taken us a while to build it, but it's ready.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
Thank you. We're giving a phase 10 away to this gentleman because he asked a very good question.
Awesome.
And who was the other person I was thinking of over here? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All right, our next speaker that's coming up is IO6, which is Robert Vogt, right? And Tiffany Fee. IO6 ELD is a pioneer in the nascent electronic logging device space, selling intelligent connected truck hardware to players across the industry. Welcome.
Thank you.
On the three dots on the bottom.
Start presentation. At the top.
It's running over here. This is going well.
Time.
There we go. All right. How's it going, everybody? I'm Robert. This is Tiffany. This is the presentation. It's very exciting right now. But yeah, so we're in the ELD market. I went to U of M here, undergrad and grad. I was in the solar car team. Won a bunch of awards in the automotive industry. Started my company IO6 back in 2005 when I left Toyota Tech Center. But the reason we're all here to talk to you is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association released a mandate about 2 years ago that basically is aimed at increasing compliance with hours of service regulations that have been around since the 1970s. You may know that semi-trucks are limited by the number of hours they're allowed to drive, and other commercial vehicles. And of course, a lot of drivers have duplicate logbooks and play all kinds of games. And the typical driver exceeds their hours of service by about a factor of 2. Some exceed by a factor of 4 or 5. It can be pretty bad, and it's extremely dangerous. The vast majority of crashes that are related to commercial vehicles are, like 98% of them are due to hours of service violations, or at least are related to hours of service violations. So it's very important. The industry has fought this for decades.
And about 5-6 years ago, the FMCSA released an optional electronic logging system called AOBRD, which had less checking and so on, and basically they would just cheat that system too. So this new system has a mechanism where all the data has to be, data has to be collected from the engine, from the driver entering information. The driver's license number has to be in there on their account. They have to sign off on the logs. The fleet has to sign off on the logs. The engine data has to be included in the logs. The GPS data has to be included, and it all gets submitted to the government every 2 weeks for automatic auditing. So it's going to be really hard to cheat this thing. So compliance was required starting December 18th, but due to the industry deciding to spend a lot of time waiting and complaining and so on, they really aren't doing full enforcement until April 1st, at which point they'll take trucks out of service and the non-compliance fine can be $17,000. There's also a bunch of other fines going up to $100,000 for cheating the system or filing false reports and things like that. So they're pretty serious about it. We think about 20 million vehicles are going to need devices in North America. So, we came into this market, we saw what was out there, we saw that there's maybe 100 to 150 fleet software companies that were working to develop these applications, but none of them knew how to actually get to a truck and talk to the truck itself. They could do all the back end, they could do all the app, they could make it pretty, they could do a nice job, they could do all the encrypted government transmissions that are required and so on, but talking to the truck is not actually simple. And the requirement is actually that any truck 2000 or newer has to have this integrated engine logging. And frankly, there are plenty of trucks that are 2000 and newer that can't even provide that data at all, or have all kinds of deviations from the standards for those data buses. So, IO6 has been in the data acquisition space for about 13 plus years for heavy duty and light duty vehicles. And we said, well, we're really good at getting data from the vehicle. I don't really want to mess with individual trucking fleets and truck drivers and making the applications and all that, but what we can do is what we're good at, which is making the hardware to talk to the vehicles. And so that's what we did. This is a sampling of some of our competitors. As you can see, they're fairly large devices. They plug in or they wire into the truck. They're not particularly slick in any way. The biggest issue is a lot of these devices interfere with the vehicle. For example, Garmin has a device in this market, and one of the Amazon reviews for it is an actual video of the Garmin device on a pickup truck sitting, idling in a parking lot, and the odometer is just ticking up on the pickup truck, which is a huge problem. But there's all kinds of problems. There's, these are some big name guys, right, and some small name guys, and it's a complete mess out there. But we've done data acquisition for car companies, truck manufacturers. We have the only small form factor devices that have actually been certified by those groups and don't cause issues in the vehicle and so on. So that's why we decided to pursue this whole market. Plus, while the bigger trucks will give you odometer and engine hours, the light duty vehicles actually have all of those pieces of information in non-standard model specific addresses. So you have to know, like, this is a 2006 Ford F-150 and it's here. And this 2009 GMC Sierra, it's here. And so we're the only people that really have that information on a large scale. So we said, let's get into this market, and we released this thing. All right?
You just.
Oh, I'll go faster. Okay. So we made this little tiny device, which Tiffany's going to hold up. We spun off from IO6 as a separate company so we could take in some investment. We raised about $250K in convertible notes, $4 million valuation. We've sold about 50,000 devices in the past few months and continuing to sell. Currently hiring for sales and engineering staff if anybody's interested. There's some tech specs here. I'll skip those, but it's a pretty cool little device in that little form factor. Timeline-wise, basically we're in between this first phase-in of ELD and the full enforcement, and then Canadian enforcement starts in the end of the year, and then all the grandfathered older systems go out of phase the next year. So that's kind of where we're at, and that's just an overview of our technological capabilities. Any questions? Sorry.
First of all, thank you very much. This is great. If you have any questions in the audience, again, please stand up.
I have a more general kind of question. I think we're looking at seeing automated driving vehicles really make a big impact on the trucking industry here in the near-term future. How do you think that's going to affect your product market and the compliance, and how's that going to shape out, do you think?
Sure. Well, I think that initially we're going to see a lot of supervisory autonomous systems, where there's going to be a driver in place, only to keep the trucking unions happy. But we're going to see a driver in there, and the driver's going to have to be alert and pay attention and so on. So this will continue to probably be relevant for another 15, 20 years before we really get into truly fully autonomous trucks without a driver present. But yeah, that's the way the industry's heading, and that's trying to get a much safer direction. This is an intermediate measure to hopefully significantly improve road safety and also quality of life for the truck drivers.
How much is your device, and what percentage of the market do you have?
So MSRP is 105. Volume price is about 70. We believe we've captured, something between 15 and 20% of the market, but we'll find out soon enough. There's a lot going on. There was a huge buying run right before the 18th as people try to put in these grandfathered AOBRD systems that don't send the data to the government every 2 weeks. And so that's where we sold this large number of units. And then leading up to April 1st, that's going to be where a lot of the guys that have been delaying are going to be buying. And we have approximately 70 systems integrators, which is about 50% of the companies in the market, using our system or integrating our system. But a lot of them were not ready for the December 18th deadline. So we'll see how many of them are actually ready for the next deadline and how their different marketing plans work out and so on. And also what happens with some of these big players that are not, not working like the product. Some of them are pursuing our product, some not. So we'll see, there may be some larger deals for the end in the near term.
One of the issues that's going to come up is there's a ton of people that got into the space but didn't really know what they were doing. So once their systems fail, then fleets are going to want to deal with downtime. So they're going to look for other systems and other solutions.
So do you have any kind of a patent or anything?
What?
Do you have a patent for on this, or?
On this specific thing, no. We will be in the process of filing a design patent on this fall like that.
So basically, other players can kind of get into this business. Is it?
Well, I mean, to be fair, this initial version of this has been out for well over a year, and these guys have designed some pretty bad products, even having been offered and seen our product. So it's, I'm not too worried about that in the near term.
Are you selling to drivers, fleets, or integrators who are building this into other products?
We're selling to the integrators. That keeps us away from dealing directly with the drivers and the fleets. Obviously, we make less money as well, but it's what we're good at. Any other questions?
Same way.
Anything else? $16 for the fully loaded version. Yes.
What you're selling to the integrators, but what do the drivers think about the rule change and like your products in general? And I guess getting back to that, why were the drivers driving overtime in the first place?
They make more money. So drivers don't make money unless they're on the road. Unless wheels are moving, they don't make any money. So they can work longer hours, they can make more loads, they can make more money. Therefore, they make more hours.
Well, sure they make more money, but do they make enough money without working overtime?
Well, that's an interesting question. And this is the macroeconomic question, which I think a lot of the drivers don't quite get, is, I'll just finish this one. But we think that, since we're looking at drivers that are on average driving double hours, the total supply of truck miles is going to go down by about half the existing drivers, right? That's going to require prices to come up to bring more people into drive. Only about 50% of the people that have CDLAs drive in the U.S. today. Most of us are economic reasons, right? So I think that overall, once this settles out, we'll see higher wages for drivers and more rest time.
Faster
So
automation.
thank you.
All right, thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right, next presenter that we have is 3Ps, John Barber. 3Ps is a virtual, turn this off. Okay. Is a virtual kitchen assistant that connects you to nutritionists and grocery stores to help you plan, purchase, and prepare healthy meals. Thank you very much. Let's welcome John.
Awesome. So my name is John. I'm the founder of 3Ps. Over 117 million Americans in the United States live with some form of diet-related chronic disease. Diet and chronic disease makes up about 80% of the $2.7 trillion per year spent on U.S. healthcare. Just for the purposes of the conversation tonight, we're going to talk about the 29 million Americans living with diabetes and the impact that nutrition can have on their health. Diabetes in the United States costs $176 billion a year in direct medical costs. Diet and exercise alone can save about 13% or $23 billion of this. Through less hospitalizations, less doctor's visits, fewer medications. This comes out to about $800 per patient per year. As healthcare costs have risen, companies are spending more and more money on employee wellness programs. And on average, 92% of the nation's largest companies spend $2.6 billion a year on employee wellness programs focused on weight management and nutrition alone. They are desperate to realize some of the potential savings associated with diet and exercise, but there's some problems inherent in the market. So before you even get to healthy eating, let's pretend that tonight you're asking yourself, what's for dinner? It's not Pizza House. And you go online and you're looking for a simple pasta dinner. You see that you have nearly 5,000 options from the nation's leading recipe website. That's great. Now you need to figure out from those options which one you have time to cook, which one your family will eat, which ones you have ingredients for in your kitchen, which ingredients you don't, and what ingredients you need to shop for. That's before you even start thinking about, I have diabetes, I have Crohn's disease, I have cardiovascular disease, I have kidney disease. Any one of those has specialty dietary restrictions that you need to think about. So you make your list for everything you need. You go to the store and you see that you have over 10,000 unique possible options for pasta and sauce. That's before you throw in your vegetables, your things that'll actually make it a healthy meal. So it makes it incredibly complex. And what you realize is you just navigated 15,000 options to figure out what's for dinner when you settled on pasta and sauce. And psychology tells us that the optimal number of decisions or options that we are capable of deciding between is 5. That's a pretty big difference. So if you imagine that you're an individual who's just been diagnosed with a chronic disease or you're living with it, and you need to make these decisions while you're also figuring out your medication schedule, your doctor's visits, all of your family's needs, it becomes overwhelming and complex. So the individuals, clinical dietitians, registered dietitians, nutritionists, even some doctors who work with patients with these diseases, they recommend what are consumer-facing and are considered currently best-in-class apps, like MyFitnessPal. The other night I made dinner, it took me 25 minutes to make. It took me an additional 6 just to log it in MyFitnessPal using their nutrition tracking feature. If you're pressed for time, you're not going to do that. And the time intensiveness of actually going through that process means that the very dietitians who are recommending these apps to their patients don't use them themselves. So our solution is 3Ps, a mobile app that serves as your virtual pantry, tracking what you buy and use, that helps you plan, purchase, and prepare nutritious and healthy meals. So 3 Ps makes it easy to plan healthy, showing you the ingredients you have in your pantry and what you need, and in one click, whether it's 1 ingredient or 10, letting you add them all to your shopping list. 3 Ps makes it easy to purchase healthy, giving you that list segmented by categories in the grocery store that lets you, with 1 click again, add everything you just bought to your virtual pantry. And makes it easy to prepare healthy, tracking what you, showing you recipes you can cook right now with the ingredients in your kitchen. And the best part about it is when you click the Cook and Update Pantry button at the end of every recipe, it automatically logs your nutrition for you, taking what used to be minutes and making it take seconds. So we are in beta on iOS. We've gotten some traction in TechArb, and we're really hoping to accelerate and to actually integrating with clinicians so that you can customize with your clinician the diet for your dietary needs. I'm out of time, but I'd be happy to take your questions.
How do you track what's in my pantry?
Yeah. So the way it works is you create a shopping list of the recipes you want to cook that week, and you go to the grocery store with that list, and it says, you know, you're buying avocados, pasta. It tells you what quantities, what amounts. 1 click, you add everything to your pantry. So it does. And long term, we'd love to actually be in a situation where curbside pickup is possible. And then we're also looking at integrating barcode scanners, so if you buy something off list, you'll be able to have it as well. Yeah.
How many users do you have right now?
So we have a very limited closed beta list test of 53 users. And the one thing that's inhibiting our growth right now is just the recipe database.
Have you been getting good feedback from them?
Yes. They want to see more recipes. They generally like the interface. They find it very easy to use. Yeah.
What's preventing Jeff Bezos from having integrated into Alexa, hey Alexa, I've got heart disease, what should I eat tonight? And using some type of natural language understanding chatbot that can automate that to Whole Foods, so I don't have to go find 3 Ps.
In theory, nothing. But actually, where we're looking at is to help grocery stores compete. So where we're trying to go is the integration with grocery stores. Grocery stores that have integrated nutrition services, whether having a nutritionist on staff, they've actually seen both an increase in cart size and profitability, as well as an increase in customer loyalty. So we see a huge market. And at the end of the day, grocery is a $600 billion industry in the United States. And Amazon, even with Whole Foods, is just tapping into a very small fraction of that. Yeah. So we have our customers are employee wellness programs, which pay on a per eligible per month. So U of M, 50,000 employees, they would pay a set fee, monthly fee, based on the number of employees they actually have. Yeah.
So your closed beta, sorry. So your closed beta, is that like just one company that you've done like a, because I guess you're on iOS, so you're not in the store, you're doing a closed distribution.
So it was just, our closed beta is just actually test out the product and to see if it functions the way it should with users. We are in early talks with several companies about what that could possibly look like, or a company data with their actual employees.
So the 53 is just like Friends Network?
No, we actually set up on DataRound, and we set up with the same description we put here, and we attracted over 100 people interested, and then...
But you capped right around there,
yeah,
right?
For capped around,
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, John. Appreciate it. All right, our final presenter for the evening. Oh, so Erika Block could not make it tonight with Saganworks. She has the flu, so unfortunately she was not able to make it here tonight. But our final speaker tonight is Brian Flaherty. with GroundSpeed. GroundSpeed uses machine learning to structure unstructured information for commercial insurance brokers and carriers. Let's give Brian a warm applause.
On that little screen right there, hit the desktop button on the left.
The left side.
This is a silly question, but how do I close this? I'll just scroll. Hi everybody, I am the chief engineer at GroundSpeed. The CEO was supposed to present tonight, but he's doing a sales call, so I'm filling in for him. So you're stuck with me instead. GroundSpeed was formed in 2016. We raised a Series A last April. We have grown from 2016 until now. At the end of 2016, we had about 4 employees. We're now up to about 27. We're planning to hire probably 5 more people this month and 10 more the month after that. So if anyone's interested in a job doing engineering or data analysis, we have a lot of roles opening up in those areas. Currently, we work with 6 out of the top 10 insurance brokers in the world. And the product that we offer is basically a data pipeline where they send us PDF and Excel files, and we extract all of the data from those files and send it back to them in a usable format. So GroundSpeed's mission is to propel commercial insurance analytics, which basically means that we take all of this important transactional and financial information that's trapped inside of PDFs and Excel documents, and we provide it in a structured format so that the brokers can use that for structuring financial instruments, using it to inform their negotiations with insurance carriers, and other transactional use cases like those. The technology that we use to do that is a data pipeline that we've developed in AWS, where we basically take the unstructured files, we run them through a number of different algorithms to do text mining, and then at the end we basically present what was inside of the document. A lot of the documents we deal with, just to give you a sense of like what they actually are, they're usually tables that have insurance claims on them. So there might be a PDF file that's 1,000 pages long and represents millions of dollars of insurance claims that's inside of a PDF. And currently the only way to get access to that information is to have somebody type it into a computer 1 page at a time. And there are actually insurance carriers in the United States where they have buildings full of 500 or 600 people at each carrier who are just typing tables into Excel spreadsheets. So our initial traction was with commercial insurance brokers. So commercial insurance is typically for a business, and it's usually like property, auto, work comp, and liability for legal claims against the business. The secondary market that we have been moving into over the last couple of months is commercial insurance carriers who have different use cases. So for the brokers, one of the primary use cases that they have is that by understanding the losses against an insurance policy, they can understand the underlying profit of the insurance carrier. So for example, by analyzing the losses, you might learn that that all of your business with a large carrier like AIG might be running a 10% profit for them when it should really be a 6% profit. And that means that the brokers can go to the carrier and negotiate for better premiums. Then they get a commission, which makes them more profitable. The other use case is that they can use the data to structure financial instruments that replace certain layers of the insurance products that they're buying from the commercial carriers. For carriers, there are two typical use cases. The first is that they have these buildings full of people who are typing it in. So this allows them to get access to that data faster, better, cheaper. They could also use analytics to basically triage the insurance applications that they're getting. And instead of just guessing like whether or not an insurance policy would be profitable if they wrote it, they can just run the PDF into our system. And we can tell them like, this document indicates that, you know, this particular policy is running at like an 8% profit margin. And then based on that, they can determine which insurance applications they want to process and quote, and which ones they don't. And this is our team. It's a pretty good team. There's Jeff Mason, he's the founder. He has about 20 years of experience in the insurance industry. Our chief software architect, Ryan Boldman, was at Johnson & Johnson prior to this, and a startup that had been acquired by Johnson & Johnson. Our chief sales officer has experience at Aon and AIG. And I think, am I out of time?
Good.
All right. Yeah, that was the last slide. So. This is my email address, so if anyone is interested in jobs, feel free to shoot me an email.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thanks. Please stand up if you have a question.
Yes.
So I had two questions. One, how do you validate the data if it's from a raw PDF? Because it could be wrong, and then you.
Yeah.
And then secondly, wouldn't the insurance companies eventually just move to direct entry forms so they cut out the PDF?
Sure. So the first question, the short answer is that we use human verification to determine whether or not our systems are producing the level of accuracy that they expect them to. The more complicated answer is that there are like 5 or 6 different measures that we use to try to measure the accuracy of those. And if you're curious about it, we can talk about it one-on-one after. The second question, about whether or not the carriers can get people to fill out the forms. That would require them to get the brokers to change their behavior. So it's not too likely because the brokers don't want to type in the information either. And a lot of the brokers they're dealing with are also large entities, so they can't really change their behavior.
So the brokers manually type in PDFs, or are they actually just, they have their in-house application that's spitting out PDF files?
The brokers typically don't type the information in, the insurance carriers do.
Oh, I see.
When they're quoting the insurance, they have to put the data into their system that's necessary in order for them to underwrite it. The brokers will sometimes type the information in. It really depends on what they're trying to do. Some use cases require that and some don't. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a question. So in order to make it statistically relevant, you need lots and lots of data because obviously one small broker, you know, looking just at clients of one small broker is not enough to really make an argument that that broker is, you know, getting overcharged. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a good question. So most of the brokers we work with are top 10 brokers. So in those use cases,
like large
they do
conglomerates of
information.
brokers, or how does that work?
Here,
Is it like a broker with like 100 offices, or how does that work? Or is it?
Yeah, so most of these brokers have at least 100 offices.
Okay, all right.
Some of them have offices around the world.
It's like my commercial broker is like a little tiny company, so they work with AIG or something, but yeah.
Yeah, so we do a little bit of work with smaller brokers too, but usually they use the data for slightly different things than kind of like the large enterprise use case. Yeah.
So I think the $1,000,000 question is, how many jobs are you destroying?
I like to think that we're not destroying that many, at least like not.
I mean, these are painful jobs, right? They're typing in numbers, right? But
Sadistic.
Yeah, so I think like right now with carriers, the primary use case isn't so much to replace what people are doing, but to kind of give them more intelligence in the applications that they're getting. Because right now, even with those 600 people, they can only review about 10% of all the insurance applications that they get. So using a system like Groundspeed, they can dig into 90 or 100% of those documents instead of just 10%.
Cool. Any other questions? Yeah.
How did you come up with this idea?
I did not come up with the idea. The founder of the company, Jeff Mason,
Okay.
They've been in insurance for about 20 years. They've worked with carriers, brokers, financial institutions. And he was kind of, he was really interested in solving this problem. The system had a problem of very important transactional information being trapped inside of paper PDF documents.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Great.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to wrap up now. So, first thing I got to ask is I have to ask everyone to raise their hand that is going to go to Pizza House tonight so I can get a count so I can figure out how many pizzas I need to order before we get there. Everybody put your hands up if you're going to Pizza House. I'm not good at this. Let's just say 30. Sounds good. Appreciate that. Again, call out to Spark, for funding the Pizza House tonight. It's going to be a good time. The next step that we go to is we go over to the community announcements, and I will start off with community announcement. But I'd like for people to line up over here to the right-hand side if you have your own community announcements. So the first one, just so I wanted to talk about that we always lay out, is the Ann Arbor Tech Film Showcase. Is this Friday, January 19th at the Michigan Theater. It is free. It's www.A2TechFilm.com. Please get your tickets in advance. The mission of the Ann Arbor Tech Film Showcase is to increase cultural diversity and interest in tech films and to promote, discuss, and educate in the medium of science fiction and technology. We encourage rich storytelling filled with infinite possibilities that challenge us and question our perception of the future. So join everyone at the Ann Arbor Historic Michigan Theater, where we will explore a selection of short films that highlight the consequences of technology. That is my announcement, and please come on up here, file up, and come on up here and make an announcement.
Front or back?
Yeah, right up here on the front would be great.
Roger wanted me to interrupt. Good evening. My name is Barbara Bolt. A lot of you have seen me here before. I sit right in the middle and take notes.
I'll talk to the people in the back.
Oh, sorry. I'm speaking up. This room absorbs sound, doesn't it? Yeah. So, my name is Barbara Bolt. I am a communication skills coach who just had to get coached herself. My product is called Pitch Polish, and I polish people who deliver pitches. It's a bit more about delivery than content, but I'm also very good at clarity, coherence of message, keywords, memorability, all of that good stuff. I am making every effort to launch a series of workshops. My workshops are a bit particular in that I limit them to only 6 people so that you get individual attention in the workshop. You're videotaped 4 times, get feedback. We cover both business pitching and investor pitching. It seems that Sean Lee is not here this evening, but he is my partner in this. I'm going to be launching this series at Tuss Star, which is the new Chinese incubator out on Green Road. It's a fantastic place. They have a lovely conference room and parking. So that's one of the reasons I want to hold the workshops there. So I brought a few brochures with me this evening. If you are interested, please see me. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Turbo, and I'm a car salesperson. I've been here before. I'm trying to do a startup that's a virtual. I've got a bunch of people in Pakistan and India. What we've done is we've taken virtual approach to a car sale where you can use WebRTC, tap on a video call, I answer it at the dealership, FaceTime with you, and then can show you the product, but also broadcast my screen. So with some of the recent developments with iOS 11, Google Speech API being publicly developed, and also utilizing Dialogflow, we're kind of enhancing this virtual dealership. So my ask is anybody that can add value or has interest in this virtual space where we're utilizing AI, basically real-time text, or has any understanding of WebRTC. I've got these guys in India and Pakistan, but I'm looking for people here to collaborate in joint. So anybody interested in that space, please come talk to me. My name's Turbo. Thanks.
I'm Bill Wallace. I run a nonprofit in DC called US Ignite, and we are seeking great ideas like the ones I've heard tonight. We're seeking great ideas. Contact us on our website if you'd like to contribute them. 3 areas: smart gigabit communities, applications and services. So applications and services that run on advanced networking, low latency, super fast. We have about 25 communities we've funded to try to do that. Internet of Things, smart cities applications, and then most recently we're hoping to run a $100 million project looking for advanced wireless applications and services through 4 platforms that will be funded partly through the National Science Foundation and partly through us. So my request is go to our website or contact me at william.wallace.us-ignite.org with some great ideas. Secondly, we're trying to get Ann Arbor to be the 26th city as part of our smart gigabit community. So if you have any ideas about who I should contact, let me know. Thank you.
For those who don't know me, I'm Paul Knifick. Our project, the Double Up Food Bucks system, the electronic Double Up Food Bucks, has been taken off greatly. We're in New York, Colorado, and Michigan now. I am looking for React Native programmers. Anyone who wants to join the team, please contact me. I'll put some information in the feed.
We're an internet service provider that is hosted by the University of Michigan. We provide internet service to the universities in Michigan, all of them, and non-for-profit, state government. We are looking for a senior developer.
Hi guys, I'm Mario. I've been here before. I'm starting to come back to the meetings now this year. I host a meetup called Orchestructure. It is built around people who want to build infrastructure and host the cool applications you're seeing here, and everything that goes into DevOps and the skills it takes to really build something that's scalable and long-term. Things like AWS, cloud, all those topics, Kubernetes, containers, those are things we're talking about constantly. So the meetup is called Orchestructure. You can check out our meetup page at orchestructure.io. And I'm Mario. I'll be here for a little while, and I'll be coming to the A2NewTech for the next few months. Thanks a lot.
Hi everyone, my name is Patrick. I run the Ruby meetup here in Ann Arbor. We meet the last Tuesday of every month, and our next meeting will be on the 30th, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And we'll be getting a small panel of senior Ruby developers together to answer questions. And then we'll keep having meetups after that. So if you're interested, you can find us on Meetup, or you can come talk to me.
My name is Angela Kuyava. I'm the Dean Director of the DESI Accelerator. And DESI is a collaborative effort between the Zaluri Institute for Entrepreneurial Studies and the Center for Entrepreneurship at the University of Michigan. But we're open to any tech-enabled company who wants to apply. We provide funding, resources, mentorship, intern staff that we pay for, and a number of different benefits while you're in the accelerator for 16 weeks. We're opening our summer cohort at the beginning of June 4th, but applications open on February 1st. If you're interested in having your company involved, we're having an info session Thursday, January 25th at the DESI Accelerator. I'll put the link in this meetup, but also you can search for it on Eventbrite, and I hope to see you there. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Diane.
It's always nice to see a lot of friendly faces. I am the co-founder of a local nonprofit called Ann Arbor Health Hacks. We organize healthcare hackathons. So that's the one announcement. Most of you already know that. The second announcement is I got contacted by somebody who's interested in running or who is running something on connected vehicle. That's not my area of expertise. That's why I've got notes. So it's SAE, Society of something engineers. Automotive, there we go. Hey, did I mention that I'm not in the automotive field? So they're doing a hackathon, and the subscription deadline is by the end of the month. I'm going to post the information in the comments for the meetup, and the finalists get to pitch at WCX in April in Detroit. So that should be awesome for people who are in coding. Now, obviously, also come to our monthly meetups. Our hackathon, A2 Health Hacks, is the weekend of June 22nd. So you've got a little bit more time for that. And we do monthly meetups. Our next one is on the 23rd of January. Thanks.
Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Ryan Landau, the founder of Repurpose. We are a recruiting company based in Detroit. We help individuals like yourself find jobs at awesome tech startups. And if you're a tech company and looking for people, we'd be happy to help. So we'll put some information in the meetup. Also, on January 23rd, we run a monthly happy hour in Detroit for just startup and entrepreneurs. And so we have about 150 people that come out each month. Last month was sponsored by Salesforce. This month is sponsored by WeWork. So it's actually at WeWork also, January 23rd at 5:30. Free beer, free sushi. Come on out. We'll post some information and hope to see everyone there.
All right, we're going to wrap up, but I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is an awesome crowd. Our next A2NewTech is going to be Tuesday, February 20th. We'll have all medtech startups from the University of Michigan's Fast Forward Medical Innovation Program. We'll be at this location in February, March, and April. This is 120 Hutchins Hall. Sorry if you had trouble making it here tonight. I even had trouble finding it. Once again, you can find us on madeina2.com/Slack and madeina2.com. Please, if you have any people that you know that you want to have present here, Brian and I are going to present our new company here at some point this spring, and it's going to be awesome. Please contact organizers at a2newtech.org with your pitch for March. Please be also sure to ask Brian what he was doing tonight. If you run into him, say, Brian, what were you doing tonight that made you miss New Tech tonight? It's a lot of fun. See you all at Pizza House. We're going to be upstairs and to the right of the Amazing Blue Room, 618 Church Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan, at South University. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Appreciate it.